Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Church of Union Sunday service after church tea time. I'm Lisi, and I'm joined together with Nikki and Andia. So if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Nikki, unionist and volunteer in the Church of Union.
And hello, I'm Andia, unionist and volunteer as well in the Church of Union.
All right, great. Well, it's after church tea time, and I actually made myself a special drink. I've got my delicious fall caramel chocolate. It's not tea, it's coffee. Are you guys
That's
drinking
nice.
anything?
I'm also drinking like a Halloween coffee blend with some half and half in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Halloween is in like when at the time of this recording, it's in 2 days. Yeah.
2 days.
Nice. Cool.
I'm having nothing today.
Maybe you have some like different kind of tea, like generosity or creativity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was good.
Yeah. Well, today's sermon was really great, and they're always so perfect, like just what we need to hear. Um, and who would like to start sharing some takeaways from the sermon?
I can open it up. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. We can go.
Yeah, I really enjoyed today's sermon, and you're absolutely right, Lisi. It always feels like it touches upon something that I'm currently moving through. And so really the part about just letting go of resistance really resonated with me because especially this week, I've been experiencing a lot of upsets around that and just upheaval, like old patterns coming up that I've been working through with my twin flame. And a lot of it just is surrounded by this theme of just needing to control things and, not honoring my divinity. And so it was really nice to hear. I think that was just kind of like the theme throughout from the meditation to the sermon. But to hear Yureen talk about it and then Soraya, it was just like a nice reminder and confirmation that, I'm exactly where I need to be and all these feelings are good and it's good to, embrace it and feel it. And because like Soraya was saying, like sometimes your mind wants to make you think like you're not supposed to be feeling this, there's something wrong. And, at the end of the day, that's really not true. It's an illusion. And so just getting that reminder was good for me. Definitely.
For me, yeah, like I resonated as always with the sermons. It was perfect timing. This is something that I've been working through like for a long time. This kind of control and like resistance to feeling my feelings, or because for me personally, I was experiencing the same thing that Soraya was experiencing. So I was like feeling uneasy with myself inside, so not allowing myself to get to peace or like stay with peace. And when I was not feeling peaceful, I was looking at this part of me that was not feeling peaceful, and I was like, I cannot go there. And I was not seeing myself as safe, so to feel my feelings. And this would create a pattern that I would start control in my union and in life. And then something will happen that would be like a big fight, let's say, or we'll have like something like bigger in scale to make me like go back into my feelings. And then I would like have more awareness because I had like this big contrast. So because of my control, I was manifesting this. And I've been like going around it like for a long time because I'm like, oh, I know I have this pattern, but I wasn't seeing how it was manifesting inside. or how I was manifesting it inside. And like this sermon literally speak to that. So it's like a big blessing because I was like, yeah, okay, I understand that I'm creating it. And then I would be like, but how am I creating this while I was being numb to that space? And I was like, kind of telling myself, no, because those feelings are not okay to be felt, are too uncomfortable. They're against me, they can harm me. So I was having these kind of thoughts. And this, like the sermon really brought peace to that, because while I was listening to it, I was like realizing it was like a big meditation, like a long meditation. I was like making choices, looking through it, looking through my pattern. And I just like made the choice to see my feelings as my friend and as gifts. So yeah, like I'm very grateful for the sermon today.
Oh my gosh, me too. I had been moving through probably like a pretty uh deeper block in the last couple of weeks, and I was just kind of trying to figure. I'm like, what is that? Like, what I can see what I'm triggered by. I would do the mirror exercise, and still like it would be there. And um, I really loved like what you shared, Nikki, and about how what Soraya said of feelings are our friends, because I realized I too was trying to like control um my feelings because I didn't think I was supposed to be feeling bad. Not that, anybody wants to feel bad, but you can't move through something unless you acknowledge what it is you were feeling. And like it's just always so refreshing to know that, we're not alone. Sometimes I would feel like, oh, I have this block and I must be, something's wrong with me. I'm going to go over here in the corner and heal. But the truth is, like, we're all so connected. And every time I come to a Sunday service, I realize like, oh my gosh, like we're all one student and one consciousness. And it's okay to feel feelings and move through them. And like not try to control and really I think one of the most profound there's a few places I kind of pulled out that were really profound that Surya shared. And for me it was like she shared that she had an attachment to resistance. Like and that really resonated with me. Um and it's something really, really subconscious, but it was so true. And how a lot of questions I ask myself are similar to like what Shaleia says in the romance attraction course. Like, how would you feel if you knew your love life was handled? And how would you feel? And I oftentimes don't ask myself that question because I'm attached to my suffering on some level. So that was really, really helpful, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I've been realizing too, that like there's this part of me that is almost afraid to let go of the attachment to suffering, like like almost like I have to feel this way in order to be safe, and if this feeling goes away, then what is it going to be? And I think like working through these blocks of just needing to feel that control, um and even like with what you said, Nikki, like experiencing these really big contrasts with your twin flame. Like I've also been having a lot of blow ups with him because I'm realizing that I'm just like attached to like how it should be looking. So if like we're having a day where I'm really triggered, or it's like I can't even stand to be in the room with him, it's almost like I'm mad that I'm feeling that way, or I'm mad that we're having this experience. But it's like every time we have this experience, I go deeper and deeper into my feelings, and then I realize the next day, like, oh man, I just like had like a sort of breakthrough here, and like realizing just all these like subtle ways that I'm resisting receiving God's love, really, and receiving my own love, and just feeling that like I'm enough, you know, that nothing else outside of me really matters. And feeling my feelings is a good thing. Like we've all said, like, and even what Soraya said in the sermon, like they're your friends, but when you're not taught that from a young age, or things just feel really unsafe from a young age, it's, there's all these little parts that it's like, even if like 95% of you feels good, you realize that, oh, there's like this little part here. And, I have to look at that. I can't, I can't ignore it, because it's like, oh my God, here we go again, um, and so, yeah, it's funny how there's like so much freedom in like experiencing these big contrasts, but yet our minds like want to resist it. Like that's like the automatic thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I had the pattern also that Nikki had of like you said, Andia, like the like inviting contrast to finally like, oh yeah, now I see the block. But it doesn't have to be such a huge, firework tower moment each and every time. Like I am learning how to be more like the princess and the pea, where that tiny upset is starting to like, I start to pay attention to myself there rather than let it get into the size of like a tsunami or something. Um, so yeah, that's really helpful. And same in my union, I noticed that we will go through patterns of like having a large argument. They're getting smaller and less frequent, but like, this moment where things build up and then whoosh. And it's on my part, it's because I'm trying to control. And that's one thing we're really letting go of. And one thing I noticed, it kind of relates to the sermon, is that I had kind of like an attachment to the upset, like an attachment to to the step one part of the upset. Like I would like mull it and chew it and like it's kind of like, I think Jeff said this in a class, like smearing the poop around, or I don't know if those were that's the exact example, but that to me that's what it felt like I was doing. um but it was like, all the things that Soraya shared were just about like letting go of your attachment to things, kind of getting out of your own way. And the thing is that like I couldn't see what I was doing from within my consciousness, like what Nikki shared. Like God had to show me, and thank goodness, thank God for the Church of Union. Like I was able to see my pattern because I was in a coaching session, and my coaches Jason and Chrissy showed that to me. It would have gone a lot slower if I didn't have this support. So that was really, I'm really grateful for that. Um, I'm curious what you all think about the part where Soraya was talking about letting go of your attachment to how you think your dreams should unfold, like your vision, how you think your harmonious union should unfold or be. And like for example, she shared that like, if she if she were to live the life that she thought would she'd like, it would go shitty. It would not be actually very pleasing to her. So what did you all take away from that?
I really resonated with that. She's my coach, and so we actually talk about that a lot because um it's been a theme in my union. Like meeting my twin flame, like the circumstances were very unexpected. He's married, he has 3 kids, and when we first manifested each other, like there was a lot of anger, like, oh my gosh, I finally manifested my twin flame, and here he is, married already, 3 children. And because those are things that at the time I thought I wanted, like, the traditional sense, like we're gonna have children together. I will be like his first wife or whatever. So I had all these ideas of, how it should be. And honestly, the more I'm healing these things, the more I'm realizing that, actually like she said, I would probably have been very bored with that sort of just, you know, like white picket fence, traditional life, or the like the things that I thought I want. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like the things that I thought that I wanted for myself. And, you know, meeting him like totally blew that all out of the water. And then I'm like realizing that it's actually exactly how it needs to be, and that what I thought I wanted in a partnership is actually something like deeper and more meaningful than, you know, like all these, I guess, sort of expectations, you know, because like his kids are my kids, and I love his kids very deeply. I never thought that I would be having this experience of, you know, like of like loving a child that isn't necessarily like mine or from my body, or, you know, however you want to say it. And so I just like had all these weird misalignments, like this is what a family should look like, this is what a marriage should look like. And that's not even like the most important thing, you know, in your twin flame union. And so it's, for me, it's been, I mean, it still is a work in process, because we're healing through, you know, the third party situation. There's a lot of stuff that has been coming up around that. But it, like, without it, I would not have known all these parts of myself. And so it's just funny how you have all these plans and expectations, and then like the love of your life actually enters, and it's nothing like you expected, and it's okay. And it's like you still love them, and you love them in a way that you never thought, you know, was possible, and you love yourself. And it's, you know, it's a very humbling experience. And I don't know what that saying is. I don't know if it's actually a saying, but like if you want God to laugh, like tell him your plans or something like that. Like I don't know. I keep hearing that. And I'm like, that's a sign for me to just, you know, let go. Cause like we're his children. We're taken care of, you know? It's, I'm realizing it's such a drain of energy to like think about all these like, oh, it has to be this way, it has to be that way.
Amen. I love that. Because it's true. Like, it's very true. Like, we're his children, like, we cannot be God. So when we try and be God for ourselves, we are, one, unhappy. So we feel uncomfortable all the time. And three, we're actually separating ourselves from our good. So it's just like this vicious cycle of nothingness, actually. And for the question that Lizzie asked us, I feel like for me, it was mostly about, one, having expectations of, oh, within this year, I will be this, or I will achieve this. And it, or for example, like the place that I wanted to live, like I wanted to move. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm moving to Italy because I was born there, and I was like, oh, it's easy, let's just go. And then I was like, well, I don't have the foundation for that. So what do I actually love about Italy that I would like? And then like I processed through like a big processing process. um yeah, I just saw that I actually made like a love list about it, and I was like, well, and then God like got in my dreams, and he was like, well, why don't you live in this town, like in this city that, yeah, I used to go there when I was like a child. My grandma is from there, like my dad actually is from there. So I have like family that grew up there, and I know the city very well. And I was like, yeah, actually that's very appropriate, and it's perfect for me. And everything that has gone through the process of finding the house, of moving, like the agency that I worked with, everything just fell into place. The house is like perfect for both of us, and like working from home and everything. And I didn't expect it. Like I went there thinking and like, yeah, expecting that I would struggle, you know, because of the thought of being used to struggle in general. And like, because it was from God, I just had like the smoothest transition. And like I was like, okay, I'll just go back and like let God through here and let him do what he wants to do. And everything just felt perfectly, and I'm very okay from this. And another like aspect of what I was expecting was in my relationship with Andy, my twin flame. So I was expecting for things to be lovey-dovey every day and have romance all the time. So I was like kind of trying to project a soulmate relationship again and like still in my union, instead of like giving that to myself first and like seeing that he mirrors me everything and not just certain parts. So yeah, like this sermon, as I said before, just clear that part of me not being willing to love myself and like having it manifested outside in my union, like both of us, both me and Andy, in some spaces not being willing to love ourselves. And I feel like for this specific chapter, like I feel clear, like I don't have expectations anymore, which I feel very peaceful about, because I'm like, I will just do my inner work and do the mirror exercise with everything that comes up, and I know that everything will be aligned, because that's the nature of God and the universe. So yeah, I feel peaceful about this part. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing Soraya said was God is consistent and his character is perfect. And so, like, I had the same thing. I love your story, Nikki, about, moving. There's a lot of kind of energy of moving, and Josh and I are thinking or are planning to move to Michigan. But as we made that choice and we thought it would go like this, so many things came up to heal. And I mean, they were like pretty big things that, like you said, like the foundation wasn't complete. Like there's some things to do before that energy could be present for us to move. And as we kind of let go of how it happened, these beautiful things started falling in our lap. It was like a simultaneous thing. Like we were reaching and God was reaching back. It was like a simultaneous moment. So for example, Josh has really gotten into planting vegetables in our garden. Like it's like our garden has just grown so big. Like we have these massive broccoli plants and like we don't even know what we're going to do with all the tomatoes we have. Like we have so much produce and it's just like expanding. And um we're doing a little bit more exercise. We went on like a 2 kilometer walk today, and we passed by a shop and there were these like huge leafy kale plants, and like, oh yeah, we need those. God was like, hey, you need this. And so Josh, we bought them, took them home. They were a great price, planted them, and it was so nice just to see like our lives like evolve and unfold in a way that we didn't plan that. And another thing that we realized is that Josh is a former military, so he has access to a GI Bill to pay his way to school, and he realized like he really wanted to go to culinary school, and so he was like just looking around and um, applied and got in and to one of the schools. I think he can do it remote, but um, this was something like this is something bigger than what we had planned. Um, what I envisioned was, okay, I'm going to keep doing my life purpose, and Josh is going to keep doing what he's doing, and it's going to stay the same. And that was as far as my vision could think or imagine. And God's like, it's actually a whole lot bigger than this. And we've had all these conversations that we never had before of our future together. And I realized, the moment that I had always wanted, which is like to see what our life purpose was. And we both were just kind of aligning, like we really want to have a garden, like a farm to table situation, and like have the food that we grow in our backyard be served to people and teach people how to do that. Like a big educational type farm. Don't know how that's going to happen, but that felt like we were perfectly aligned there. And I've never felt that with anybody, let alone my twin flame. Like I've never we didn't plan to get there like that. We just knew that I just knew in my heart that I wanted our visions to align, and like, oh, like finally. And I thought it would be something like video games, which I love to play, but it's this farming thing, this growing produce and vegetables, and that really felt good. So um one thing, I think for people in the world, like a lot of us don't realize that we're influenced by society or parents or friends in so many places. Like, I know a lot of people, myself included, a long time ago, I felt this pressure to have children. And I was like, I need to hurry up. My biological clock is running out. I really should have kids. I really want kids. I want to have a family. And like what Soraya was talking about, it was like not the thing that I wanted. It was the feeling of that I wanted from the thing. I didn't realize it was just a feeling of home that I wanted. And that's kind of, unpacking that, um, and letting go of trying to get it in a certain way with a certain thing happening. It gave me so much freedom. And I see a lot of people, try to rush things with their twin flame. Um, I mean, it's women, it's a lot of women, sometimes men too, masculine and feminine, like try to rush into union because they want to have kids and a family. And it's it's not a bad thing to have that desire, but um it can really like slow you down to try to push something that isn't unfolding with God. And I think that's really important. And I think, like like you were saying, Andia, like your family is developing so beautifully as it is. Like it's always going to be better than you can imagine and the best for you. So yeah, that feels complete from what I wanted to share. But I wanted to say hello to people watching. We have Lydia, Brianne, Jenny, Danny. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah,
All
Lisa,
right.
what you were saying, it made me think of what uh Soraya and I like talked about in one of our sessions, but I was like asking her, I'm like, because like I said, when I met John, there was all these upsets around what our union looked like. And, I just like one day in session, just like being really frustrated, I asked her, like, why does God do these things? Like, why does God, because I was dealing with a lot of feelings of just like kind of feeling punished, like from my childhood, all these things happen. Like, if things didn't happen this way, would it have been like it is now with John? And I was just like going through like all these, misaligned like thinking patterns. And I just loved what her response to me was like, I'm not saying it verbatim, paraphrasing, but basically that like God, we all make choices, obviously. And so, we're coming into this life making certain choices, and the contrast that's like created because of the choices of separation that we've been making is actually like a pathway that lets God like really show us who he is. And she was saying like his character is consistent, like, you know God is a loyal lover. He's never going to make a promise and then, 2 days later, like, oh, you did this wrong, I'm going to take it away from you. And, you know, through all the challenges that we go through, like I'm learning that it's like really God just showing me and all of us how loyal he is and like how perfect his love is, and like also showing us like how powerful we are. Like none of these things on the outside even really matter, because they're just all there for me anyway, for me to learn, for me to get closer to God and to myself. And like if it wasn't for the fact that my twin flame is married, like I wouldn't have been able to like access all these things that I've been holding on to from like 20 years ago. You know, like even before I was aware of twin flames, even before I met him, you know, like the current situation I'm in is helping me address all these like parts of myself that I've been ignoring for so long. And it would not have been able to happen any other way, you know. And like I see that now, and I see the gift in you know what I am experiencing, even if to like the mind, to the ego, you know, to my friends that don't really want to know about twin flames, you know, like it might seem crazy to them, like, oh, you know, why invest so much in a person that's like already married, that has kids, and you know, and it's like, well, because that's a part of me, that's me, like that's, and I love myself, I'm never going to give up on myself. And you know, I don't care what it looks like right now, because I know that's not the truth of my union and who I am. But yet even the things that like look bad aren't even bad. It's just love coming and helping me in the way that I need. um so yeah, that feels complete. That's all I want to say.
We have Cini watching with us, and we have a comment from Danny. Danny says, I love what you guys are sharing. I resonate. Thank you, Danny. And Jenny says also, I can relate to all of this. Thank you all for sharing. Yeah, I think it's just so powerful to be in a community together, um, and really realize that we're all one, and we move through challenges that are not that different from all of our brothers and sisters. Yeah. I feel pretty complete. Does anyone else want to share anything? Or are you feeling complete?
Oh,
I feel complete.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great. Well, I want to say thank you everyone for watching both live and on YouTube. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube, and come and join us at the Unionism Spiritual Discussion Group on Facebook, and visit the unionism.org website, where you can check out all the past sermons and tithe and donate to the church and learn all about what the Church of Union is doing in the world. So thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and week ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.